Talk about fighting, bro. You see the fight this weekend?
263?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Adesanya, dude, that was a crazy fight. That was one of the card was frustrating as hell. When I finished that card, I was so frustrated. I like Adesanya, but I also don't like Adesanya. I don't like how Adesanya grabs people's asses and stuff during the match. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I love Conor McGregor. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And people say, like, well, how do you like Conor and not like Adesanya's cockiness? Well, Conor in the ring isn't cocky, or octagon, not ring. Conor in the octagon isn't cocky. Conor isn't, slapping somebody's ass, making a fool out of them. Because I feel like when you're fighting, you have to have, show some level of respect to the person you're fighting. And I don't think grabbing their ass and, making them look like a fool is very respectful. That's why when Cody Garbrandt got knocked the fuck out, I was so happy. Doing those dance moves against Dominic Cruz. I was like, come on, man. Don't do that. I don't like that. So, Adesanya, I was kind of rooting against you. I'm sorry if you see this. I'm sorry. But I love that you like anime and you are awesome. But I was rooting against you. But I also didn't know much about your opponent. So he might be a total dick. So if he is a dick, I'm sorry. I should have rooted for you. Well, actually, during the fight, I wanted who was he fighting? Do you know? It was an Italian guy.
No, but I just kept calling him a meatball, which I don't know if that's racially insensitive. I am Italian.
You could say it. You're Italian. Well, I mean, I'm part Italian too. My great grandfather was from Italy, so that counts, right? Well, whoever he was fighting, he just had no game plan against Adesanya. He was doing these feints nonstop, and I get it. I'm somebody who I've done
Vittori?
Yeah, Vittori, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I've done mixed martial arts on and off for probably 5 or 6 years. And my stand-up has always been a little less trained, but I'm more of a I like jiu-jitsu, I like wrestling, I like all that kind of stuff. I want to get back to mixed martial arts soon. I'm actually slowly integrating it back after a little bit of a hiatus. But just based off of what I saw, you say Vittori?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Vittori, his game plan was so flawed. He had to close the distance, I feel like, against Adesanya. Adesanya had such a long reach that you're not going to get him by fighting 5 feet away. And he just kept not checking the leg kick, letting him do whatever he wants. He landed some good punches, but he usually landed good punches when he went at him. I think Vittori was scared shitless. And you actually have the clip, and we'll probably post that later, but you have the clip. He showed up in, what are those things called? Are they called Oni masks? He showed up in one of those masks that are from Japanese lore. Have you ever seen Avatar?
Yeah, it is an Oni mask.
It's an Oni mask, right? Yeah, I thought that.
Good call.
Because I actually thought about getting that tattooed. Oni masks are so cool. Yeah, he showed up in that. I think Vittori was scared shitless. I honestly think that he was a little starstruck. Not starstruck, because he's fought this guy. He's fought Adesanya before. And he came.
The scare tactic was 11 out of 10. He's looking like a samurai. Dude, I'd be shitting myself too.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, Adesanya's reach is so long. He has an 80-inch reach. That's absurd for a man his size. 80 inches, bro. That's just, I couldn't believe that when I saw that on the when they were showing his stats and everything. It's just crazy. So these fighters, right? Talking about another fight. Well, okay. You know what? Like I said, I was rooting for Vittori, but then when Vittori was doing the most frustrating tactic of all, is just feinting, not doing anything, kind of scared to commit, and just didn't go in. I was freaking the fuck out, and I kept saying, Adesanya, just knock him out. Please finish this fight. I can't handle it anymore. Please just get it the fuck out. Now, again, that's just the spectator in me. These guys are trained professionals. Obviously, he was probably thinking of more things than me. Maybe he was thinking, I don't want to get knocked out by this guy. But I don't know. I'm not gonna judge him too much. But this is just what I was thinking at the time. Then there's another fighter who I have a love-hate relationship with, is Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz to me is awesome. I don't really like his personality, but as a fighter, I think he's a beast. Going to war, when he fights, you're going to war. If you're fighting him, goddamn well this man isn't going to go out without a fight, and he is going to, at any point during that fight, you could get either knocked out or submitted. When Nate was getting his shit rocked by Leon Edwards, I was frustrated because Nate didn't look like himself. Or Leon Edwards is honestly a beast. I don't really know too much about it. Maybe Leon Edwards is actually that good. He probably is that good, honestly, if he beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz, at one point during the fight, when I think there was like a minute left, a minute and a half maybe, he cracked Leon Edwards after he was getting schmacked. He hit Leon Edwards with, I don't know what it was, but he hit him, and Leon Edwards started to like rock. Like he was going out. His legs were wobbling. But Nate did the thing that I hate so much. Bars, by the way. I hate it. He showboated. He like did this little thing or something like that, and it gave Leon Edwards just that little bit of time to recover. So he just put up his guard, and Nate didn't finish it because nothing left in the tank. But if he didn't do that showboat thing and he hit him with a clean jab or anything, he could have knocked out Leon Edwards. And I'm sitting there screaming at the TV because I was rooting for Nate Diaz. I mean, listen, I don't like his personality, but I always root for the guy who looks like he's going to war. So that fight was frustrating, bro. I mean, that was so frustrating. And then you see the fight with the one other fight that I watched because I didn't watch the full card. I watched at the same time I was roped into watching the boxing match, the YouTubers versus TikTokers.
Oh, okay.
I was roped into that by my sister. She was watching it on a different thing. Actually, my sister and Steph were watching it. So
Yeah, you said the fight. I know which fight you were talking about. The big Bryce Hall.
there it is, Bryce Hall. Well,
Talked a great deal of shit.
I didn't watch the actual like the interviews and shit. Who was talking shit?
They were both talking a healthy amount of shit, but Bryce Hall had the great quotable, "I've been in over 40 street fights," which is too exact of a number to sound hard.
Emma was telling me that he's like known on TikTok. So I was like, is he like a dancer? Is he a trend guy? She said that he was like a frat guy, like a douche frat.
Essentially, yeah, and he is a little bit of a dancer. I feel like most of his fans are of the demographic of like 12 to 15-year-old girls.
So like Jake Paul.
Yeah, same. They have the same target
demographic.
audience for
He
sure.
got his absolute, and I don't like the Ace family because, well, I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I've definitely heard and seen some reportings on some of the activity that they've done.
Yeah, he's insane as well.
Yeah, he's also kind of
There were no winners.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. But let me just say, he absolutely beat the ever-living shit out of that man. He fucked him up. That guy didn't get a single clean shot in. He beat his ass so bad that I was sitting there and I'm like, this is like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if I went in there against Muhammad Ali and just tried to fight him. I just got my shit, or Mike Tyson, because it was more or less just power shot after power shot after power shot. And somebody told me, I think Emma told me about it, but she said that Paige Van Zandt was the one commentating, I think.
I'm not sure. I didn't watch it live.
I'm pretty sure that she commentated, and she was like, well, Bryce Hall's looking at it more of a boxing, like a professional boxing fight, and not trying to slug it out. Okay, but a real professional boxer would beat the ever-living shit out of the Ace family guy. But Bryce Hall's not a professional boxer. He's just some bitch who wants to be famous more, just like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I'm not taking anything away from them. They are legit amateur boxers, I would say. I would say that those guys could... honestly, it's hard to... I don't know if they could beat a boxer. I don't know if they could beat a legit boxer. But they're good enough to where they can fight the average man. They can knock out the average person. They can't... I don't know about a real boxer. I don't even know about an amateur boxer. But they can knock out the average man. And they are playing us like fiddles.
Yeah, I was about to say the nicest thing I can say about the Paul brothers is that they both know how to make money.
Dude, they are promoting more than I have ever seen. And we're falling for it. We are literally falling for every single thing they do. They're calling out the best opponents. Logan Paul, I have a little bit more respect for. He's fighting Mayweather, even though I don't know. I might kind of believe in the controversy that he was knocked out. I don't know if that's true.
The tape looks like it.
Dude, it looks like it. You know what it looks like? It looks like he didn't get knocked out. It looked like, I've heard Rogan talk about this, and I've actually seen it happen in a gym, is when you get hit perfectly on the jaw, your body just kind of like collapses. It's not like you're unconscious. It's like your body just goes out. And it's just weird to look at it because it looks like his whole body goes limp. And if like Mayweather let him fall, it didn't look like he was getting back up. But again, more credit to Logan. He's actually fought a legit boxer. Jake Paul is fighting a man who is so dangerous. He's fighting Tyron Woodley. I don't know Luque too well. He's come to my gym a few times. He actually, I think he was born in Jersey, but he trains at Gracie, New Jersey sometimes. He comes and trains with Mickey. And Luque's a badass. Luque goes to war, just like Nate Diaz, like I said. He goes to war with that man. He doesn't stop. He goes forward. Even after you hit him hard. He went, I don't know if he went the distance with Wonder Boy, but he got cracked by Wonder Boy and still was going at him. Luque fought Tyron Woodley. And Luque almost got knocked out by Tyron Woodley because Tyron Woodley was throwing bombs. But, he came back. Luque's a warrior, and Luque ended up, TKOing Tyron Woodley. Why do I keep saying? Why am I saying it like that? Tyron Woodley, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, Tyron Woodley lost it. He can't do it anymore. He's old." Listen, he's old, but that man can still punch. If you were watching that fight, he was throwing bombs at Luque, and if one of those connect with Jake Paul will be in the hospital. He'll have a broken jaw. That man is not Ben Askren. He is not a chunky hip surgery dad coming out, out there with no training, because I don't think that man trained. When he walked out of that fight and he was sitting there smiling with his wife. He's like, "Bitch, we got paid."
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Ben Askren, as soon as he took the shirt off, he had the body by George. I was like, whoa, like there's no, like, and Jake Paul, he looks the part. He is yoked, I would say.
Oh, Jake Paul definitely looks the part. And he's not a bad boxer. He's not like this person who has no skill whatsoever. He's been boxing for like 3 years. So he has some legitimate skill. Should he have beaten Ben Askren? Probably. Ben Askren's known as like the worst striker in MMA. Will he beat Tyron Woodley? I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to buy that fight. I will buy that fight purely based off the fact that I want to see Woodley knock him out. And I think that's what's getting people to continue buying these pay-per-views, is because we want to see Logan Paul and Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
It's a circus. Sure. I've heard somebody say that. It's a circus. It really is just like we want to see something that doesn't make sense. Like seeing an amateur guy fight the greatest boxer of all time is just unheard of. So when we see it actually come to fruition, we're like, I gotta buy this because I want to see him get knocked out. And then he doesn't get knocked out because I think Mayweather's pulling his punches.
Oh, you did. What's the how does that help him?
Sets up a rematch.
Oh, he needs another bag for the exhibition.
Well, I mean, like, dude, if you can get another bag, why not get another bag? He is the smartest boxing business person, because no matter what he does, people will pay for it. People will watch Mayweather fight. And if it's against a YouTuber, of course they're going to ask for a fight. What was his quote? I mean, maybe you can look it up. It was like, legacy won't feed my kids, or something along those lines. And it makes sense, bro. The one thing that I hear be told to athletes all the time from different people is, listen, get your money and get out. The less injuries you have, the less damage you have, there's no reason to. There's no reason to. I mean, legacy is great if you can get it, but I'd rather make $100 million fighting Mayweather and just never fucking work a day in my life again. Because, like, I'm not going to live that lavish life if I had that.
Pretty much. He said, your kids can't eat legacy.
It's true, though. It's so true. Like, what are you going to do with I get
the sentiment, but you can't really eat money either.
Bro, how many athletes do you hear about now who fell out of relevance and they're, like, working at, like, McDonald's? Or, like, maybe not McDonald's, but, like, a small job. It's because, listen, your legacy was great, but you made dick because you weren't making those money moves, bro. At the end of the day, all of this stuff is about money moves. Conor McGregor, one of my favorite things about him is that he's one of the smartest business people. He makes money moves. He makes sure that even after the UFC thing is done, I have the whiskey. I know he sold it recently, but he's still a spokesman, so he's probably still making bank off that even after he sold it. He has McGregor Entertainment or McGregor something like that, like something sports entertainment. He has so many different ventures. That man's not just a fighter; he's an entrepreneur, and that's what I would suggest to anybody who is going to be an athlete. Is that if you're on the hype train, make sure you're taking advantage of it and not just living it. Make sure that you're doing smart things, and God, make that money, bro. Make the money. If you have that gift, make that money. I wish I had that gift. I wish I had that athletic talent to just be a football player or an MMA fighter and just live off that and make all the money possible and then just retire when I'm like 40 and not do anything for the rest of my life.
So with the Jake Paul bouts and the Logan Paul, Austin McBroom, the Bryce Hall, what's your thoughts on the concept of just anyone with a fan base hopping in the ring?
I think that if you're going to fight, and this is just purely based off the fact that I'm an MMA guy, I think you should fight MMA because boxing isn't fighting. I'll say it right here. Boxing is not fighting. Boxing is a sport. MMA is fighting because it's basically, there are some rules, but the rules aren't going to really save you except like a 12-6 or getting kicked on the ground. But if you're going to fight with a big fan base, I think you should fight mixed martial arts because if somebody, I mean, boxing isn't unheard of to be training forever. MMA, I feel like, is a relatively new thing that people are slowly getting into training. Eventually, like, it's in 10 years, you're going to hear about, like, everybody training MMA. Everybody's doing jiu-jitsu. Everybody's doing, Muay Thai. I think that if you're going to go and fight, I would I would fucking love to see Logan Paul or Jake Paul fight an amateur MMA guy. They would get choked unconscious. They would be shitting their pants. And that's why they won't go in MMA. And they're smart because they know when they lose, this hype train's over. This entire ride that they're going on is over when they lose because no one's going to be interested in it because they know they got their ass kicked. And MMA, at least you have more of a threat with anything because it's not like you can just hug somebody like Mayweather and Logan Paul. You can't just hug somebody and you'll be safe. When you're hugging somebody, you're either getting thrown, bro, or you're getting like punched, or there's nothing you can do about it in MMA. It's a dangerous world. So I think that if we're going to do these celebrity fights, I know the UFC won't sponsor it, but something that somebody should capitalize right now is make, like a UFC business for celebrity fighting and just go off that. Just be like, you guys can fight in this. We'll make sure we'll get all the proper paperwork and you don't have to worry about the UFC. Because I think Dana said that there's no way in fuck he'll ever have like a circus on his shit.
Yeah, I do. He does run the UFC pretty well from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But even we have that with the boxing. I mean, I think it was this weekend as well. Lamar Odom boxed Aaron Carter. And I'll get the exact stats there. But Lamar Odom, I believe, is close to 6'10". Oh, my
God. You know what the issue is, too? Is
and
that
Aaron Carter is 6'10".
So these are just two like giants fighting.
Not even, I believe.
6'10" is
Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter is 6 foot, so there's a 10-inch difference.
What?
And Lamar Odom is a professional athlete,
okay, dude.
And Aaron Carter is a professional meth head.
Oh my fucking God! So as is, when you watch Mayweather versus Logan Paul, you see such a size difference in that. Seeing somebody who's almost a full foot taller than you, now that's a circus. That is just a straight up circus show. That is they're having this. This is happening.
It already happened. Obviously, Lamar Odom knocked him out. They had these protective helmets that I haven't really seen.
Oh, it's
before.
like amateur. It's like amateur.
Yeah, they had like something in front of their mouth.
Bro, that's like you know what I also don't like about this, the celebrity boxing, is that I feel like the judges are ass. In the YouTube versus TikTok thing, it was Gibb versus somebody. It was a TikToker he fought. And Gibb was beating the ever-living shit out of this guy, like nonstop, punching and punching and punching and punching. This kid didn't even throw like a punch, and they called that a tie. Now, I don't know if these are sanctioned judges or whatever, not sanctioned, or like, I don't really know the word, but I don't know if these are judges that are used for regular boxing. But if they are, these guys need to get their fucking eyes checked. This kid threw like 70 punches compared to this kid's like 4. And then they have, this is what I hate about these influencers is that he saw that it was a tie, not Gib, the other guy, the TikTok kid, saw that it was a tie. And when asked, do you think you won? He said, yeah. He's like, yeah, I won. This is what I hate is that these aren't fighters. These are people who want clout, and they just want that symbol of, oh, I'm the best. What are you talking about? Without earning it. They're not fighters. They won't say like, I respect my opponent. He actually did a really good job. He beat me. No, you're really going to look me dead in the eye after you get punched in the face multiple times and you not retaliating. You're going to say you won. It's embarrassing, man. It's so embarrassing. And I'm predicting, I'm not, the professional predictor, but I think that boxing will officially become just an overall joke within like a couple years. I think that the only thing they're hanging on by is the celebrity fighting. There's Ryan Garcia, I think that's his name, who's an absolute monster. He's the fastest boxer I think I've ever seen in my life. But besides him, you got Canelo, and I'm not the biggest boxing fan. Those are the two I can add. But I don't see boxing going anywhere near the popularity of UFC ever again, because I know boxing back in the day was popular, but I don't think they'll ever be the big fighting sport ever again because of this.
Well, they'd need the Mayweather, the Tyson.
Yeah, they would need to, if there was a Mike Tyson right now, boxing
I feel like
would
he'd be in
huge.
the UFC.
Dude, Mike Tyson can still fuck people up. Did you watch his fight?
I did watch that one too.
That wasn't a tie, but they had to do it a tie because, they're both legends. But he fucked up Roy Jones Jr. He beat his ass, and he held back.
Oh, yeah.
If you were watching the fight, it looked like he was holding back before he was going to knock him out. Like, it was bad. Like, he was hitting him, and then it looked like he held back a few punches because, like, in his head, he's like, all right. Because I think you're not allowed to knock him out in that round. I don't think you were allowed to knock him out in their match. I think there was, like, a rule.
Yeah, probably because the CTE that they both have gotten over
Dude,
the
Mike
years.
Tyson's actually a smart guy. If you ever listen to him,
he has a good podcast.
like if you ever listen to him talk about like history and stuff, he's actually really intelligent. He's not like dumb. He's not that dumb jock that you would think he would be.